Welcome, Christopher. Guess what I have?
Oh, that's a nice looking book you have there.
It is. It's gorgeous. I love that. I got one of the
I have one
signed
too.
ones. Do you? Wait. I didn't go to the signature page. I like it. I got one of the signed copies. Thank
Very
you.
cool.
So, we always start with talking about art, and you are a creature artist. You are a monster artist.
Yes.
Tell me, how did you find this niche? How did you become a creature artist?
Well, I mean, I'll from 1977 onward, I was fascinated with monsters and creatures. I was 3 years old when I saw the movie Star Wars and the cantina scene, and it kind of just changed everything that I thought about. And I was huge into Godzilla, and when Dungeons and Dragons came along, I first discovered the miniatures with all these monsters, and I didn't want to play the game. I just wanted to get the monster manuals and just read about these monsters.
Did you
And that
paint them?
some, but mostly I made my own. I made my own miniatures out of clay, and then I drew those and wrote stories about those. But as the years went on, I just focused on doing monsters because I didn't like to draw people. I had no interest in drawing people. It bored me to tears. I liked to create and do weird monsters. And that continued all the way through college. And I built monster suits, and I did continued drawing, painting, and doing printmaking with monsters. And that led to a job. I left college, graduated, and immediately moved to Los Angeles and started working in the film industry, doing concept designs for TV, movies. We did some music videos, did commercials. We did a ton of stuff. And I did that for a number of years until I kind of got burned out with LA. But before I left, I started making contacts in the tabletop gaming industry. And I made the transition when I left LA to start doing stuff in the gaming industry. And in June, will be 16 years of working in the tabletop gaming industry. And before any of that started, when I was still in college, I started building my own world and kind of began telling some stories. And through the experience that I gained working professionally and just living my life and doing my thing, the story slowly came together over about 20 years. And the first book of it now exists.
This is a phenomenally deep book. I mean, this is an epic world. I was reading I love the character synopsises, would you
Yeah.
call them? I'm not quite sure what to call them. I mean, I've got some tabs here. Like this one says, coolest bong ever.
Oh
Page 192. I don't
yes,
know if it's
the
really a
thrice.
bong, but it's
No,
awesome.
it's just the pipe,
It's so
because
cool. It's like an elephant and it's Indian and it's foreign and it's alien. It's just so cool.
yeah, the
Um,
thrice have certain characteristics to their physiology that
the thrice.
allows others to become intoxicated to varying degrees upon depending on what part of their bodies you consume.
Ooh.
So
So they're a delicacy.
they can be. They're also illegal in some places.
So this has been 20 years in the making.
Uh, for the idea is 21 years in the making. Uh, uh so um I first started envisioning it in 1998. So I guess it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be 23 years soon. But so I created the first character, Ithra Vandalia, which is the main protagonist, the main voice of the book. I designed and created them in school, and it was just kind of this weird dragony monster thing within its workshop. And there was something there. It was, the story began, and I never could get rid of the idea, and it just kind of lingered with me. And about 10 years after school, oh, actually, oh gosh, it's been,
Did
yeah,
you
I
go
think it
to
was
art school?
I went to Florida. I went to FSU, Florida State University, and I got a fine arts degree. So I have a bachelor's in fine arts. and
Cool.
I had to fight tooth and nail every day uh, to make sure I was treated the same as the fine arts students, because they didn't think monsters were art, and it was an ongoing battle of trying to prove myself as
Yeah.
a student and as an artist, and that's a whole
Yeah.
nother story for another day.
No, no, I get it. There is this debate. I mean, I could totally sit and talk with you over a glass of wine about, art for art's sake versus commercialized art and commoditized art and product design. But really, this podcast is about how do you make a living in the arts, regardless of what medium,
Yeah.
what substrate, what genre, what niche you inhabit, because we want to find those common threads. I want to find those themes, the secrets, if you will, of how do you make a living as an artist, whether you do an abstract expressionist painting, whether you're a monster developer, creature creator, or we just had John Paul Caponegro on.
Hmm.
I spoke with Maggie Taylor yesterday, and she's kind of, do you know the name?
Yeah, I know the name. Yeah.
Oh, and so I mean, all these different genres, they have common things in common. And so I think there shouldn't be elitism between the different fields, is what I'm saying.
They shouldn't be, but
I know, but there is. So
yeah,
can I read this one little thing because I think it's awesome.
sure.
You have a little section here. It says, "The minds of mathematicians and artists are both warped and deviant." I have toured some of the studios and laboratories of the so called greats in the fields of art and mathematics, and I have found them wanting. In each, I have discovered rotting piles of unspeakable filth on the floor or even work tables. It is as if it is not even there to these sad individuals. I am no artist, and my head was never meant for mathematics. But how they can work with that stench and that ghastly sight, I do not know. If that is the price for creative genius, then they can keep it to themselves. I love it, but I just love the first line. The minds of mathematicians and artists are both warped and deviant.
That is Argus the skeptic. He has something to say about everything.
I love it. I love his voice, his narrative throughout this.
Mhm.
Um, so this just wouldn't go away, and this is such a magnificent work, but it's big. I mean,
Yeah.
the drawings and the story, you're both a writer and an artist.
I realized that. I mean, I had teachers in high school that would compliment my writing, and they would say, you're a gifted writer, but an abysmal speller, because I struggled with dyslexia, and I have a certain amount of reading phobia that I had from school and stuff. So I was always telling stories, and I always had a million stories to go along with everything that I was drawing, and um, and I've kind of written behind the scenes for years now, and it was kind of when I decided to start putting the book together, which was about 5 years ago. I realized that more and more that it was going to be a work of words with images to help make sure that everything's visualized correctly, and that the stories I wanted to tell needed to be told with words and not images.
So, how do you put together a book of this magnitude of such images and words? Let's talk about your process for just a minute, because I love to pick the brains of artists on something like this.
Many moons ago, when I was part of the illustration masterclass that Rebecca Gay runs every summer. They had a guest artist and writer, and unfortunately for the life of me, I'm blanking on their name. But one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got was that making a book is impossible. It just can't be done. But you can do a drawing, and you can write an outline, and you can write a couple paragraphs, and then you can write another drawing, or you can draw another drawing, or you can do a painting, and then you can maybe write a chapter or two, and then you can draw a map, and then you can work on your outline and do some editing. And that was the approach that I took. You can't sit down and make a book. It's just impossible. And like, you just can't sit down and make a painting. It takes steps. There's steps and iterations, and they grow. It's a it's a series of steps. And so I set up a really big work board in our house, and I determined all of the entries that I needed to do. I knew there was going to be 30 entries. So I put up placeholders for all of the art. And